All right.
Let me
Well,
introduce
hello.
you. Let me
Yeah.
introduce you here for a moment. So, all right, guys, we are looking at September of 2024, and the Arizona branch for Equity Real Estate Equity Rising is doing its thing and getting involved in the property management side. And as I've always said, if you can actually start looking at property management as a supplement to real estate, it's one of those things where you can actually learn to pay your bills because property management is often a very small income on a regular monthly basis. And as such, what that means is if you collect enough of them, you're building a referral network of potential buyers and sellers through the group. The landlords are going to want to buy other new properties. They're eventually going to get tired of them, or they're going to defer maintenance, depreciate the whole thing out to that they've had it for so many years that it now becomes a better investment for them to actually get rid of it and take that same money and put it into another one. And then, of course, you've got renters looking to eventually to buy when they're ready to go. So it's actually a really good marketing scheme in multiple venues. But if you get enough of these to actually pay your monthly bills on especially in down cycles when it comes to real estate, one of the things that's really great about that is you don't look desperate because sellers and buyers don't want to work with agents who are just reeking of desperation. And so we want to make sure that you've got a plan in place to set yourself up for a steady income when it comes to your real estate career so that you can actually be in a position to help and assist buyers and sellers specifically and primarily in their own best interest, not necessarily yours, because that's not what your fiduciary responsibility dictates. So today we're going to actually look at Jessica Lay, who's going to tell us a little bit about what she's doing in the process for setting up her property management business, specifically as we get that all kind of off the ground and rolling here in Arizona. Jessica, it's all yours.
Thanks, Mike. Okay, so appreciate you guys being here. I'm Jessica Lay, and I'm an equity real estate agent, and I am currently in the process of my first rental property with equity. And the two main uh, tech, not technological tech, technical sites that we use is called Dotloop and Buildium because this is specific to equity. Like Mike mentioned, why property management? It offers real estate professionals an opportunity for additional income streams. It helps diversify skills and services to clients. And there is a growing demand for experienced property managers, especially in Arizona's rental market. Steps to get started with equity property management. The first thing is to complete CE courses. They want to see at least one fair housing and one property management CE class completed. And you always want to stay up to date on your continuing education and brokerage policies just to ensure that we have smooth operations. The next step to get started, you want to review and sign the equity property management policies and procedures document. This will make sure you're in compliance with the brokerage and their legal standards. These will populate into your Dotloop, your current Dotloop a as an equity agent. And in the picture there, that's what it'll look like. So you click on the AZ EPM agent loop and you'll be able to find your policies and procedures document there, along with some other documents that need to be signed and filled out. You want to complete your agent onboarding. And again, that's all found in this dot loop that will be available to you once you show that you've completed your CE and are ready to become a property manager. Um, and then the fourth step to getting started is you want to start marketing yourself. You'll set up your own charges and fees based on your market, build your brand, and start advertising your property management services. You want to remember that equity, when you're setting up a property, there's an automatic $120 that goes to equity when you set up a property. And so you'll want to work that into your setup fee. There's also a monthly management fee, which 70% goes to you as the agent and 30% goes to equity. It turns to an 80-20 split once you have 21 properties. So those are some things to keep in mind when you're setting up your business and what you're looking to charge. All right, how to add a new listing in dotloop. You want to make sure you're in the correct account. Once your onboarding is complete, you'll get a new profile added to your dotloop. As you can see, if you click on your name, you'll drop down the menu and sorry. So you'll click your name and select the property management account. And at first, when I did this, it actually appeared both as my name. So I got a little confused on which account was which. So I went in, and once I could see that, differentiate my regular account from the property management account, I just went to my settings and added the PM to my name for the property management account and used a different photo so I can easily identify the two when I'm working. Once we are in dotloop, we want to create the owner and tenant folders. My God. So we'll click add document to begin uploading the important owner documents and add the following documents to the owner's folder. Those include the property management agreement, the AZ property input form, which is the property details for MLS marketing, the owner payment form for direct deposit of rental income, the IRS W-9 form, tax form for the owners to complete, property disclosure statement. This ensures full disclosure about the property. Agency disclosure form. This defines your relationship with the owner. The exclusive right to rent agreement, and this gives you the rights to lease the property. And then there's also a commission form, which outlines your commission agreement. You want to stay organized and always upload the correct documents to the right folders to avoid confusion later in this property management process. And we always want to ensure transparency. So the property management agreement does that and prevents future misunderstandings between us and the owner. Having everything signed and documented through dotloop, you'll want to be prepared with a suggestion on the rental price amount by researching ahead of time. So setting your fees and using dotloop. And once you're in those documents, you can add signatures and text boxes. It's similar to Transaction Desk. You can see in this photo the drop down for adding either signature or initials, things like that. If they're not already auto-populated, if you have your people inputted into dotloop when you're creating the listing, then it should auto-populate, but if it doesn't, you can add them. And then you hover over the box to assign it to the correct person. You can see it at the bottom of the photo there, assign the field, and then click share. Share is at the top right corner when you're ready to share the documents with the owners for signatures. Once you click share, a small window will pop up, and as long as you added the people in the beginning, then they'll automatically be in there. And you click share and you'll be notified via email once they've signed it. You'll see in the folder, okay, so once all the documents are completed, you'll submit them for review by the brokerage. And to do that, at the top of dotloop, you'll see submit for a review button. It's kind of under your little profile picture there. And then another window will pop up and you click the folder that you'd like to submit. In this example, we check box the owner's folder, and then you click the button that says submit. Why do we submit our work for review? Pretty self-explanatory. So compliance with legal standards. The brokerage ensures all property management activities comply with Arizona state laws. We need that broker supervision. It's quality control, maintaining a high standard of professionalism, preventing errors that could lead to legal issues or client dissatisfaction, protection against liability, and adherence to the brokerage's policies. And then you'll see in dotloop, once it's been approved, it marks it approved. If it's not approved, it'll say needs review. And then we want to get a head start on our tenant folder. So the tenant folder, just like the owner's folder, we rename it. Just keep everything clean. So instead of just tenant folder, we could put John Smith tenant as an example. Same with the owner, we put the owner's name. And we're going to add documents to this folder. The following documents we need is the residential lease agreement and an AZ lease input form. This is necessary for proper lease documentation and input into the systems. Some optional ones that may come up is things like the pool addendum or pool liability waiver, also a pet agreement if they're planning to have a pet, or an assistant animal agreement if it's an assisted animal, and you want a current tenant information form. This is useful if we're leasing to a company where different tenants may move in and out more frequently. And this just helps us stay proactive. By setting up the tenant folder in advance, you streamline the move-in process and avoid last-minute document preparation. And then after that, we're done with dotloop, and the paperworks are all approved. So you'll receive a link in your email to gain access to Buildium. Once your first property is approved by Equity Property Management, this is a great platform where you'll be able to list the property and syndicate to all the sites to promote your listing. Like it'll post to Zillow, Rently, I think like 50 they mentioned. It'll post to once the listing is live. And then owners will have access to this, being able to view financial reports and see updates on their property. Tenants will also have access where they can review the listings, apply, and manage their payments. And make sure once you're logged in, you go to settings, complete your profile, and add a photo, because other agents look at this and they really want to make sure your profile is set up. Once you are in Buildium, you'll want to click listings on the side, and then it'll pop up listed units. You'll toggle over to unlisted units, and that's where you'll be able to see this property that was just approved from dotloop. So yeah, list unlisted unit. Now we're in our property that was approved in dot loop. And this will help. Oh, okay. And then the help packet that is included in your agent onboarding paperwork from the beginning. It's important to follow it every step of the way when creating your listing. Sorry, my notes got all screwy. And then this is a snapshot of that help packet. So you can see it lays everything out nicely to help you build the listing in Buildium. And this is where I've stopped in my process because I'm just waiting on pictures and then we can go live. Thank you.
What are the next steps?
The next steps would be getting the photos uploaded onto Buildium and then hitting the button that says go live listing, and then it'll blast the property across 50 plus websites for people to start viewing it and requesting showings and submitting applications.
Nice. Nice. Okay. So Buildium actually acts in many cases like an MLS, syndicating then to all these other websites.
Yeah.
So it's an advertising platform as well.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And again, like the agent, the owner, and the tenants all have access to it. They can probably only see specific things that are different than each other, but it's just a nice one spot where everyone stays in clear communication and knows exactly what's going on.
What's the most positive thing you've learned so far in this process?
I'd say I think just learning the documents in dot loop was like really for me personally, like I like learning the contracts and stuff like that.
Okay. What's the most challenging thing you've been dealing with in this process?
Challenging, I guess, has been figuring out my like business plan on like what to charge and looking for, because it's good to have people in your pocket, like maintenance people,
Mm.
like plumbers, cleaners, things like that. But I have to do a lot more research with that. And I'm just hoping that my business plan's working out.
Okay. Okay. Very good. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. We'll end the recording here, and then we'll pick up with questions on the other side of the recording here.